What's up everybody, my name is Carl, and today I'm going to talk to you about what the Yowie is. The Yowie, or the Yehu, Yuri, hairy man, or Yahoo, is a humanoid fanged grey ape that resides in Australia. Essentially, this being is the Australian Bigfoot with Aboriginal ties, possibly an undiscovered species of great ape or prehistoric human. The Yowie is stated to be around 5 to 9 feet tall and has brown or reddish fur. It also is described to have talon-like claws as indicated by Aboriginal folklore. As well as this, the cryptid is also known to have a large red mouth, which contains 2 large fang-like canines, which also helps distinguish the Yowie from other Bigfoot species. The Yowie has been described to be one of the most aggressive Sasquatch species, as reports have been documented of the cryptid tearing heads off of kangaroos and dogs. Humans have also been attacked by the beast, but this is a rarity. As mentioned previously, the tales of the Yowie begin with the Australian Aboriginal people, specifically the KAAYALL tribe of North Queensland, who claim they have coexisted with the Yowie, though it has reportedly attacked them on more than one occasion. They claim that there are 2 types of Yowie species, one that can grow up to 10 feet tall and the other between 4 to 5 feet tall. They describe the cryptid as shy, but can easily turn violent and aggressive. There's 2 theories regarding the Yowie's ancestry. The first is that it descends from an ancient ape species, Gigantopithecus blacki. The other theory is that the Yowie could be a living Homo erectus, which is possibly suspected in prehistoric Australia, but it's not evidenced. Yowies could still be related to this, but maybe more as a primitive tribe. Other theories have surfaced regarding the Yowie through Aboriginal cave art, which depicts the hairy creatures alongside the Aboriginal people. This could be an indication that the Yowie could have been an early hominoid that went extinct or potentially disappeared deep in the Australian outback, away from the eyes of humans. The very first sightings of the Yowie date back to the 19th century from the Europeans. However, stories from the indigenous Aboriginal people from Australia claim that it goes much further back than this, as far back as 1790. The most recent sighting of the Yowie was reported back in December of 2021 in Queensland, Australia. 3 men had allegedly come across the Yowie as they made their way back to the Jimna base camp. They first noticed a slouched figure lurking under a streetlight. One of the men described the creature to have an ape-like face with long arms. They later went on to say that initially they thought it was a boar or a big animal until they got closer to it and saw it run off in an ape-like way. Now it is story time, and today I'm bringing you 2 true alleged Yowie encounters. These stories are courtesy of Dean Harrison's Australian Yowie research site called theYowieHunters.com, a site dedicated to researching and documenting the Yowie creature. The link for the website will be in the description below. It features hundreds of alleged encounters of the Yowie from different areas of Australia, such as Tasmania, Victoria and New South Wales. Without further ado, sit back, turn out the lights and try not to get frightened. The first story comes from Barron River Falls in Cairns, Queensland, 1996, and this is from the perspective of an emergency service worker. About 10 years ago, we got a call in relation to a 50-year-old female who was crying on the walking track at Barron River Falls, Cairns, North Queensland. We did not know what the matter was about. We thought it was some sort of asthma attack or similar. We attended and located the female, who was in hysterics, about 4 kilometers along the walking track. She was physically shaking and as white as a ghost. She could not physically move and was visibly shaking. We calmed her down and stayed with her for about 30 minutes, trying to comfort her. She seemed sane and did not suffer from any historical mental illness. Her daughter eventually attended and told us that she was sane and this behaviour was unusual. She also stated that they were locals. They lived in the township of Carvornica, which is in the vicinity of the walking track. I learnt from the daughter that her mother had walked the track every day for the last 7 years at the same time every day. We ended up medicating her and moving her from the track to the entrance. Once outside, the patient started talking and was calm enough to find out what the problem was. I was astonished to learn that she stated that she had seen a very large hairy creature with matty dark brown hair to walk in front of her, across the walking track from right to left, going downhill through the bush. She stated that she could not believe what she had seen and had a panic attack because she was on her own. She further stated that the creature was very tall and covered in thick matted hair. She said the face was exposed, but she could not see the face because the face was dark, like dark leather. She stated she had never seen anything like it in her life, and it wasn't an animal from the Australian wilderness. She kept describing the animal as a creature. I believe that she may have seen a Bigfoot creature. The second and final story comes from War River, Western Australia, January 1985, and this was submitted anonymously. One Friday night in the summer of 1984/85, we were on our way to Gildington, about 1.5 hours north of Perth, on the Moore River, southwest of the Moore River National Park. I was travelling with a female friend. We were to meet up with others at a friend's parents' beach house on the Moore River mouth. We had turned off the Brand Highway, which is a main roadway to the north of our state, at Moolyabini, and we were heading towards the coast. It was here that I noticed my trusty HQ Kingswood was starting to overheat. It didn't take long before I had to pull over. I popped the hood, the headlights were off and I couldn't see anything, so I returned to the car and turned them on. There was not another single light in sight, no moon either. It was pitch black. I'd taken off the radiator cap, which furiously overflowed, and left it to cool before refilling it. I'd lit a cigarette when my attention was turned to something heavy coming through the bush to my right. I then noticed 2 glowing red eyes coming towards us through the scrub, which sounded as if it was quite thick. I couldn't see how far away the eyes were, maybe 30 meters. The glowing eyes were large, but still far enough for me to call my friend out of the car. She asked what I thought it could be. Stray cow? Kangaroo, I thought at first, but 2 things baffled me. It was coming from my rear left-hand side of the car, which was not illuminated by my headlights. The area was pitch black, and I couldn't even make out bush shapes more than a figure. Also, the eyes stayed at a level height, as if it was a bloke walking, and at times it looked as if it was walking around some bushes/trees in its way. I've worked with kangaroos before, and know they use their front paws to walk at the same pace as this thing. Thus, they'd be hunched over, and the road was actually higher than the side fields/bush. Whatever it was big. When it got to within 15 meters of us, and I'd explained all this to my friend, I said to her jokingly, if this was a movie, the crowd would be yelling, "Get the F out of there!" So with this thing still approaching at the same pace, we got into the car and I drove off with the hood half up, radiator cap off for about 1 kilometer, before quickly stopping and literally throwing water into it before driving off again. We weren't scared and literally forgot about the whole incident when we reached Moore River. After an experience I had in Nepal, I read up about these creatures and to my astonishment read that Yowie's eyes actually glow red. This immediately brought back the memories of that night, for at that time I had no idea what it could have been. With what I know now, I would have reversed the car to shine the lights on it. And that was my take on the Yowie, a Bigfoot-like cryptozoological creature that has been around as far back as the late 1700s and continues to roam around the vast landscapes and regions of Australia. A creature that can potentially be dangerous to humans as well as animals. Does the Yowie really exist? Given with how insane some of Australia's wildlife is, and as well as how vast the country is, I wouldn't doubt the existence of the Yowie. The number of encounters I've read on yowiehunters.com have depicted the same sort of being, and these are coming from different regions of Australia. It's possible that the Yowie is an endangered or rare species of ape that inhabits the various areas of Australia, possibly wanting to be left alone by humans and other living beings. But of course, I leave this to you, the viewer, to decide. So comment down below if you have any knowledge or information regarding the Yowie. Do you or someone you know have a true encounter to share on the Yowie? And what do you think? Is the Yowie real or fake? Like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!